Hi, I'm Brooks Compton, Mayor of the City of Centerville, and I'm glad you were able to join us today for Centerville Business Today. And I'm on the floor today at Ignite Yoga with Justina Sanford, and we're going to talk a little bit about her store, her operation here in Centerville, providing good services from a yoga perspective to Centerville residents and other residents around this area. Justina, thank you very much for joining us today on Centerville Business Today. Yeah. And if you wouldn't mind just telling us a little bit about Ignite Yoga, how you got started, and why you're located here in Centerville.
Yeah, absolutely. My story is a little interesting and unique. I actually had dreams of a yoga studio for probably 2 years, and I thought about it every day. And I had visions of this big, beautiful studio, had business plans, something I could not afford. And I reached out to a mentor of mine, and she emailed me and she said, create a small, loving space. I was like, okay. And as soon as I made that an option, even in my brain, a local woman posted that she was looking for a new owner for her yoga studio. It was a small studio. It was located over on 48. And so I ended up taking over that studio. It was called Meta Yoga. And we were in that space for about 6 months. The building sold right at Thanksgiving. And I had roughly 5 days to find a new space, 5 days. And I was able to do it. So everything just kind of keeps falling into place. And so in January 2013, we rebranded and opened as Ignite Yoga here in this location.
Great. Yeah. Well, Justina, I know you're at 65B.
Yes.
West Franklin, and that's just a little door or so down from Los Pyramides here in Centerville.
Yeah.
And so appreciate you locating here in Centerville. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about what Ignite Yoga does and some of the services that you provide and the classes that you provide?
Ignite Yoga is obviously a yoga studio.
Yes.
But we really have a passion for being more than that. So we consider ourselves to really be a catalyst for change, for people to experience their lives in a more meaningful and powerful way. And we use yoga as the tool to do that.
Okay. Can you give us an idea of what a typical class would be, if, such as myself, someone who's not taken yoga before, if I wanted to get involved in yoga, how would you get me into that particular aspect of exercise and physical activity?
Sure, yeah. So this is a question that I get a lot, actually, because there's something about a yoga studio that feels unfamiliar for people to come, and so they get stopped, and they don't come because they're not sure what to expect. One thing to know is that we walk you through everything. So as soon as you come in through the door, we greet you, you have a waiver to sign, and then we welcome you into the space. If you need a mat, we have mats to borrow. If you have any injuries, we like to know that. If you're wanting to come to a class, you can register online or just show up 5 to 10 minutes beforehand. And the biggest piece that I believe is important when starting yoga is to find a class that meets where you are. And I think that's also one of the biggest reasons why people don't come back to yoga, is because they find themselves in a class that's either physically too fast or mentally too slow, and so they feel this disconnect and kind of awkwardness being in the class. So finding that right fit is really important, and we like to help you do that, whether it's here or whether it's elsewhere in the Dayton area. We think that we have a fit here for you, but we don't offer all styles of yoga, and so
well, you have a really nice studio here.
Thank you.
A very comfortable feeling in your studio, and just a little bit of your background and how you got involved in yoga. I know you told us a little bit about how you ended up at the studio, but you have kind of an unusual path as to how you got to yoga and to be an instructor. If you could just fill us in a little bit about that.
Yeah, so in my former life I was a music therapist, and I still love music. I actually incorporate music into some of our classes here. After being a music therapist, living in Chicago, I lost my job in the sad 2008, and and I got hired at Lululemon Athletica, which was thriving in that kind of depression area. And Lululemon has a grassroots motto in which they, at the time, they were allowing their employees to take classes in the Chicago area. And so as a fitness-inspired yoga apparel company, a yoga-inspired fitness apparel company, I had the opportunity to practice tons and tons of yoga, tons of styles, tons of instructors, yoga challenges, yoga this, yoga that. It was like Forrest Gump, yoga, hatha.
So you saw all sorts of yoga or different styles when you were working in Chicago then?
Yes, yeah, lots of styles.
So you developed then a style that you like of yoga. I know you indicated that there's all sorts of different variations of yoga. What's the specialty here at Ignite Yoga?
Yeah, so we specialize in Vinyasa yoga. My background is Baptiste Vinyasa, and I'm the only certified instructor here in Dayton that teaches that style. But the components of style that we teach here is really about empowering the students. It also connects breath and flow, or breath and movement. So the movement and the breath are connected, which then creates a flow, which is a metaphor for being able to flow through your life. So the hope is that, what happens on your mat can be generalized off of your mat. Our goal is really not to just have you come in and participate in a yoga class, but more to get a yoga experience. So one thing that I love is that if you come to a yoga class, you leave and you're like, oh, I love my body. But when you can come in and come to a yoga experience, you leave and you say, I love my life. And there's a big difference there. And so our goal here is to really create more of that experience that you're excited to take what you learn on your mat out into the world to be a better person, for you to be a catalyst for somebody else to experience, a better life.
Well, you were mentioning a little bit about posture and things of that sort. That's a big part of your program, isn't it? To improve your posture, muscle tone, and things of that sort, to help your back and help your alignment.
Yes, yep. So yoga can heal the body. It doesn't happen overnight. It definitely takes practice. That's why it's called a practice. Yoga is kind of a mountain with no top. And that's why you see advanced postures, is because those folks have just progressed to that's where their body now experiences the postures. So it stabilizes the joints, which is one area that gets weak. You hear as people, we age, and you hear my knees hurt, my hips hurt, my shoulder, ugh. And so yoga helps to stabilize those joints and or make them more flexible depending on whatever it is that the body needs. And it's really up to the instructor and the student in collaboration to kind of understand what it is that each individual body needs.
Okay. I know that you've done some programs throughout the city, and one program that you've had has been over at Stubbs Park.
Yes.
I think right in front of the Veterans Memorial.
Yes.
Can you tell us just a little bit about how that got started and when that might be done again?
Yes. One thing that we love here is being a part of the community. So we love building community within here. It feels like a family in here. And then we love outreaching to the community. And unfortunately, yoga does come with a price, and there's tons of value in yoga, so that that cost is really relevant, but it's not accessible to everybody. So one thing that we love to do is offer periodically free classes so that folks can come and experience yoga. One, to help their pocketbooks, but two, so that we can bring the Centerville community together and just realize that we're all more alike than we are different.
So you've had some classes then over at Stubbs Park on some mornings. I think you did that this last summer, did you not?
We did it on Wednesday nights. Yeah,
Wednesday nights.
At 6 o'clock, yeah. So that was almost every Wednesday this past summer, and we plan to do some offering next summer. It might not look the same, but definitely we'll be over there.
Well, we appreciate you doing that.
Yeah.
So someone like me who would come in here today and who is someone who has not taken yoga before, I did not dress in a normal suit and tie today for Centerville Business Today. I dressed, and I can tell you I'm already nervous and I'm perspiring now. So how would you break me into yoga and show some of the fine points that I would be able to improve myself as far as flexibility and physical endurance and things of that sort?
Yeah, so one of the neat pieces that we like to do here is and one thing that is often forgot by students is that every instructor, every practitioner has been a beginner. So we've been there before. We know that it feels awkward. We know that it's uncomfortable. So we try to remind you that we know what that feels like. So you're not alone. Do you want to do some poses?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, be glad to. So Justina's going to put me through a couple moves here in the yoga studio and at Ignite Yoga here in Centerville. And Justina, I know that you've had thousands of hours of practice and training over the years, so I feel very comfortable with you today.
Good.
For this is my first session in yoga, so Justina, have at me here and give me some instruction on what I need to do.
Okay, so we're gonna start in a really simple pose. It's called child's pose. And so you'll come down to your shin bones. There you go. And then sit onto your heels and reach your hands forward. Yep, and walk them all the way forward until your forehead comes heavy towards the ground. Keep your hips on your heels. So you'll come back this way.
Okay, come back.
All the way back.
Okay.
Onto your heels. Good, and now reach your hands towards the front of the mat without, and then drop your head heavy. Yeah, good.
Am I pretty loose or am I pretty stiff?
You're right where you need to be.
Okay. This is a good stretch.
Yeah, it should feel really good on your back and hips.
It does.
And then we're gonna add the second piece of yoga, or really more the first piece, and that is breath. So I want you to constrict the back of your throat a little. And I want you to breathe right into where I place my hands. Yeah, and then exhale it out of your nose. And inhale again. And exhale it out of your nose. And try to relax your head down even more. Yeah, you can even let it rest on the mat. Good. And then take one more deep breath in. Yeah, and exhale. On your inhale, you'll shift forward into a tabletop, and it looks just like it sounds. So your shoulders will come over your wrists and your hips stay over your knees. Yeah, good. And you can walk your knees forward a little. And then we're gonna move through cat and cow. This is great for your spine. You'll inhale, look up to the ceiling, and let your stomach drop down. So you're arching your back down. And then on your exhale, round your back and pull up into my hand like a Halloween cat. Good, and then you'll just relax your head, drop your chin. Inhale, look up to the ceiling, and you'll just move through that a few times. Good. Exhale and round your back and pull all the way up to the ceiling. One more time like that. Inhale, look up. Good. Soften right here in between your shoulder blades. Yeah. And then exhale, round your back and pull your stomach all the way in. Tuck your chin. Good. Come back to a flat back on your inhale. And then sink back into child's pose. Exhale. Yeah. Good. Walk your hands forward. And your hips will come back to your heels again.
Okay.
All the way back. Yeah, and relax your head down. So the pose that you started in. Great. Yeah, and really feel that through the back of your spine. So I'm just gonna pull on your hips a little, and I want you to lengthen your head forward a little. Yeah, and then relax your forehead down. Take a full breath in. Good, exhale it out. And one more time, deep breath in. And exhale. Again, tabletop, come forward. Bring your hands underneath of your shoulders. Walk them back. Great. On your inhale, take your left arm and reach it up. And you'll wave to everybody out there. And then thread your arm underneath of your right arm and come down onto your left side. Yeah, so you'll relax your left side of your body down.
Okay.
That way, yeah, good. And so here, you're gonna continue to move your spine. The ancient yogis believed that the spine was like the fountain of youth. So the more we could move it and have it be mobile, the more youthfulness we would experience in our body.
Thank you for joining us on Centerville Business Today. I'm Brooks Compton, Mayor of the City of Centerville, and we've been fortunate to have Justina Sanford with us at Ignite Yoga. Thanks for joining us. And Justina, namaste.
Namaste, Brooks.
Thank you for joining us.